This time Santhosh was the one who raised first in, and ace-queen off is of course perfectly fine open. Seth Davies had ace-jack off and decided to 3-bet his hand. In theory this is on the edge, and the solver mixes raises with folds, and folding is the more common option. I guess he thought that Santhosh might be opening too wide from early position, especially after he just lost 2 pots in a row. Also, I'm not sure about the sizing, because it's a little bit bigger than standard, as he used 3.5x in position. Santhosh called this 3-bet, but it wasn't an obvious decision. As we can see, this is also a borderline hand, and solver mixes between raises, calls and folds with it. Classic GTO spot. On the flop he checked as he should with his whole range, and Seth checked back. This is very strange play, as on ace-high boards he has a significant equity advantage and can justify betting with the whole range. On the turn, Santhosh bet with the small sizing. Solver sometimes bets with ace-queen, but overall it checks with almost all hands, because player in position is still holding equity advantage, and king should help his range, as one of the hands that makes sense to not c-bet on this board would be pocket kings. On the other hand, ace-queen off might look for some value, because it's hard to imagine that Seth checked back a better hand on the flop. Maybe pocket aces, but there is only one combo left. Santhosh would imagine that Seth would bet all his ace-king combos or 2 pairs with ace-deuce or ace-5. Seth called this bet pretty fast, as he should with most of his range, but it's worth to mention that ace-jack is strong enough to sometimes raise with it. 7 on the river was a brick, and Santhosh checked. This is a tricky play, and solver sometimes does it with this hand, but overall this is a spot to polarize betting range and use mostly bigger sizing with the strongest hands and a few bluffs, and ace-queen is one of the best hands he could have here. Seth Davies took some time before putting his opponent all in. This is another strange play, as solver doesn't overbet this river at all, and when I was playing with other sizing options to force player in position to have overbet there, solver wasn't betting ace-jack with it and even checked back some combos of it. This hand is worth betting for value, but when we go too big with it, it's more likely that we will get folds from hands that we want to call and only get called by hands that beat us. Maybe he underestimated Santhosh and thought that as played he cannot have many better hands and will make a crying call with a weaker holding, as he might be on tilt after losing 2 pots in a row. Santhosh was also a little bit confused, and it took some time before he made the call. This wasn't a very easy spot for him, because in theory Seth shouldn't bet that big for value with anything worse than ace-queen, so Suvarna has just a pure bluff catcher. On the other hand, it's hard to have many better hands with this line, and he eventually made the correct call. Solver also struggles with this decision, and against an overbet it mixes folds and calls with most of aces, as kicker shouldn't make a big difference in this situation.